I was thinking today about power and how much I tend to avoid it, how much I tend to avoid standing in what I understand my power to be, whether it's speaking up or trying something new in big ways and small. And I find that quite common. I certainly notice it with a lot of my friends and a lot of amazing people I speak to. And there's this real fear about standing in our power. Maybe it is because we're used to things not working out. Maybe it's because when we have historically tried something, it hasn't worked, or it wasn't received, or we were faced with judgment, either our own or the judgment of others. There's a myriad of reasons why someone who is, or someone who has awesome, beautiful, creative talents to sing, to write, to start a business, to step out in a new way in their relationship with self, why there comes this point where we doubt, where we're afraid of it. And so I was sitting with that fear, the fear of power, really. And there is a discernment, I think, to be made about what we think power is and how we see it in the world around us. So this is, force, or power means I am in a better situation compared to somebody else, therefore I have power over. So there are all these ideas and concepts that weave into each other, and they almost form like a matrix of understanding. And oftentimes I find when we reject power of the self, it is actually that we are rejecting these notions of power that we have seen around us from start. So war, greed, power around money or status, or power dynamics in relationships between couples or between like a boss and an employee, the haves and the have-nots, like all of that is a power play. And for me, when I reject power, that's what I'm rejecting. But true power is not like that at all. True power just feels very different. And I think because most of us are not used to seeing it, we don't fully trust or recognize what it is. To me, true power is like energy. It's neither created nor destroyed. So if I am powerful, it is because I recognize that you are also powerful. And when we are in any type of exchange, if we're conversing, regardless of the relationship, the only way you can have my power is if I actually give it to you. And maybe there's a circumstance or a situation that is, that pushes me into fear, and then I give you my power as a result, or the other way around. But again, all of this is what I truly believe is this old world, this old understanding of what power is. Because as I said, true power lies within. And it feels powerful in the knowing of it. And I think that is where the fear comes from, simply because it is unknown to us in many ways, what our power is, where it comes from, what it looks like, what it means to walk in the world as powerful and healthy and wealthy, and have everyone else also walk in their power and be healthy and wealthy. And together, what world are we creating? What dynamics, what relationships, what systems, what innovations and inventions? What are the solutions from a place of mutual power? That to me is a much more interesting line of questioning. But before I get into that, I really had to sit with why I fear my power so much. And it's because I have no idea what it is. And I don't know what it feels like. If I have power, would I misuse it? Would you feel threatened? Would there be jealousy or envy? Like these were some of the questions I was stuck with. And in the spiritual world, we're often taught that we are creators of our life experience. We have the ability to instantly manifest that which we desire as long as we do not hold any attachment to it. So to me, for a while, this was quite contrary. Because on one hand, I had a great fear of what my power was and how it would be expressed in the world authentically and gracefully and beautifully. And on the other hand, there was this entitlement to it and almost a frustration that would come into play when things did not happen the way I wanted, which would make me then feel powerless. So in this little dance that happened between having this fear of power on one hand, and then on the other hand, having this frustration around things that didn't happen the way I wanted them to, there was this lovely, it feels like this lemon skate, right? Like the infinity symbol that we're used to. And again, the infinity symbol is drawn in this way, like the sideways 8, but in truth, it's not static. It's a constant flux. It actually does this. It moves. And so in my universe, I kept finding that I would either be here or be here. It was these two places that I was that felt like they were in great conflict. But the work and the surrender for me in the moment was that in between these places is the point of connection. And that point of connection, again, is not static. It is the doorway through duality, through this I am this or this polarity that we experience, into the place where we integrate both, that they are both a valid and honored part of the experience without rejecting one or preferring the other. And in that place, I found that a lot of my previous understanding of power came from being separate from the world, being separate from God, universe, creator, earth, plants, animals, and other people. If I inherently feel separate from you, I may, and I did, and I do, tend to have this power dynamic because I want to establish myself as something different or better or differentiate myself in a way. And that's where a lot of this power dynamic stuff was showing up in my life. On the other hand, when I saw the exact same situations, the exact same people, the exact same dynamics from a place of connected oneness, where I am that which you are, where I am as the rose and the rose is me, where the holding and the understanding exists, that point in ourselves deep inside where we touch that we are one consciousness moving together beyond preferences and judgment, there's really no requirement for this power play. There is fear, and that exists as much as power, and that exists as much as courage, and that exists, like everything just exists together, like colors in a painter's palette. And then, because I am now in a different place of understanding, what it actually means to be the creator of my life experience means that I can choose which color complement to use, to put towards the situation. And I think that is what true alchemy is, whether it's power alchemy or alchemy in other ways of life. I can now choose in a moment to bring a power dynamic of separation into my workplace or not, to bring unity or oneness into my personal relationships or not. And I think there's a huge difference in how our personality, our earth mind, our ego mind interprets being the creator of our life experience and having internal power that gets outwardly expressed. And then how our wise one within, the one who knows, the one who remembers us, the one who remembers the us who we were before we came into this incarnation, the one that remembers that we are all interconnected, interwoven, and not separate, and just having and here to have different unique expressions and experiences of the oneness. That one interprets, that wise one interprets power quite differently. That is the one that doesn't get caught up in the separation of fear or judgment versus non-fear or entitlement, and is the one that's able to stand back and see that connection point and have the courage to walk through the doorway that opens us up to realizing that we are beyond our thoughts, that we are beyond our experiences even, and we are beyond our emotions, that we are beyond this physical body, but that they are all part of us, and that we are quite bigger than how we act, than how we behave in the everyday, in the material. That is, to me, the great beauty and the teaching of power. And this is my line of questioning and my line of exploration, really, for the next at least few days, if not longer. And it is, for me, I keep coming back to this wound of separation when I am not in my oneness consciousness versus when I am. And the wound of separation, I think, is healed by the practice, by the practice application of salve. And it is the salve of oneness. If you've ever had a burn, it heals because of the repeated application of aloe or whatever ointment we are putting on our wound. It's not a one-time fix. And I think the wound of separation, where we convince ourselves that we are separate from our neighbors, our brothers or sisters, our plants, our alliances, our animals, the land, the environment, that is such a practiced wounding that this application of repeatedly coming back into that meditative mind, into that heart open space where we are one, we are connected, we are wise, we are whole, we are already healed, reminding ourselves activates that remembering. So it's the wound of separation is healed, to me, by the salve of remembering that we are one. And it is that, I believe, is the mantra or the meditation, for me at least at the moment. I hope this means something for you, and if it doesn't, that's awesome too. I'm here to share some of these parts of my journey as I come into alignment with what I call the wise one within. And to me, that's a gift and a blessing and an invitation. Have a great day.